Wow, talk about living a very interesting life. Lorelei12-26-08, who has put her life experience onto print. The book is called Runway, Runaway, a backstage pass to fashion, romance, and rock and roll. You are not strangers to any of these topics. Thanks for being here. Amongst your celebrated relationships, Steve Clark, who of course was with Def Leppard, and the book opens with a photo of the two of you together. Yeah. He passed away at a very young age.
30 years old.
And you said it took you a long time to make the decision whether to write about it or not. Now you have in some detail. What prompted you to make that choice?
Well, there was a young fan that was an avid Steve Clark fan and Def Leppard fan. And during the days of when the internet started taking off in the late 90s, he found me and asked me, begged me, and pleaded with me to write a book, a story of Steve. Why would a guy like that, who seemed to have everything, take his own life? And I didn't want to write the book. I didn't want to go through that again. I had already lived it. It had been a difficult time in my life, and eventually he wore me down. Long story short, he wore me down, so I wrote a treatment, took it to New York, and they said, you know, Lorelei, this is really your story, and Steve's not here to tell it, so can you come back with your ideas about your life and what you went through? And so then my friends talked me into it, and I gave myself permission to do it. And it took a long time, and I finally got it out. This past year, I graduated from a master's program in spiritual psychology at the University of Santa Monica, and they sort of coach you through in your second year a project that's very close to your heart, that is very challenging for you. So I walked through the fire, and I put it out there. It's warts and all. And
would you describe it, is it a romantic adventure or cautionary tale?
It's both. It's a real adventure. My friends, and also the people who are buying it and reading it, are telling me it's a page turner. And I like hearing that. And it's all about my experiences. I ran away from home at 15. I went after my dreams to become a model. I met a lot of really famous jet-setting people along the way. And it's sort of the reality of surviving your dreams. You know, be careful what you wish for, because when you get your wish, there's a lot of things that go along with it that you weren't quite expecting. And I encourage mothers to read it and their teenage daughters to read it. And it opens conversations about things that happen behind the scenes in the modeling world. I feel forewarned is forearmed. You know, if they had told us more about what we were getting ourselves into, I think we would have been more prepared. I watched a lot of...
Do you think they did that on purpose? Not.
They don't tell you those things? Of course not. Yeah. Things are a little bit better these days than they were, you know, 20 years ago in Europe and doing the European circuit, the world circuit of modeling runways and all of that. You know,
so give us a tidbit. Give us something, you know, like...
I mean, the sense I get, you met and romantically met a lot of these rock stars.
Yes.
And is that the type of thing, and I'm not trying to be impolite, okay, where for them it was just sort of another notch, and for you, you think it's a great romance?
Maybe for me it was another notch.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
You're rocking up rock stars. Works both ways.
No, it wasn't really that way. I always had romances with them. They weren't really sort of one. We would all be put in the same places. Models and rock stars travel the same paths. You know, we would go to Tokyo and we would be introduced by the promoters to the musicians. You know, they would bring us together.
That's why, I see.
Yeah. It's sort of like, why do cheerleaders go out with football players?
Yeah,
do you understand the game?
Yeah, yeah.
We know the game. We know the, you know, the first night when I met Steve, I drew a map of Tokyo for him because he was on his way there and I had been living there for 3 months.
You knew the ropes.
I knew the ropes.
The playbook is right here. Runway, Runaway is available in stores. It's on Amazon.com. We're going to show you the cover, and the website is
runwayrunaway.com. And you can get it on my website, and you can get it on Amazon.com. And it's also here in Los Angeles at Book Soup.
Excellent.
Terrific.
Congratulations.
Lorelei, thanks so much. Nice to meet you.
What a voyage.
Thanks very much for coming in. Very, very interesting. Real quick, we're going to talk about a little entertainment news here. You might have heard about this. The passing of a legend, Eartha Kitt, who had a wonderful sense of who she was and who she could be on stage. She died Christmas Day, which is ironic when you consider that one of her big calling cards, this Christmas classic, Santa Baby.